Friends, today is Saturday, the 28th of November, and we've just celebrated the Eucharist here in the cathedral, and I have over my shoulder the Blessed Virgin. We celebrated the Mass, the Saturday Mass of the Blessed Virgin, as this liturgical year comes to an end. Today is the last day of the liturgical year, and this evening we will begin to celebrate Advent at our 5:30 Mass, and tomorrow and for the next few weeks. You know, I'm struck in the readings how similar the readings are between the end of the liturgical year and the beginning of the new. At the end of the liturgical year, we focus on the second coming of Jesus and the end of the world. And as we begin Advent, once again, we are preparing for the coming of the Lord. But this time, remembrance that He has come. He has come, the incarnation, His first coming, His second coming. And both the end of the year and the beginning of the year, the readings are about being vigilant, being awake, awaiting the coming. And at the end of the year, we await the second coming, and in the Advent season, we await the first coming, or at least remember that first coming. And the readings focus mostly on the future. The readings at the end of the year, focusing on the end of the world, end of everything. But our reading today, on the last day, really focuses more on our personal end, when we will meet our end, in other words, our death. To be vigilant and awake and prepared, and it says, don't let that day catch you unawares, a surprise like a trap. Be prepared, be ready. You know, I think about being in Europe and going through all the medieval churches of Europe. And in Europe, churches have many tombs and mementos on the walls of someone who has died, remembrances of those, and some buried in the floor underground at the church itself, and some just have monuments there. And frequently those monuments will have a skull and crossbones. And of course you know immediately what that is about, death. And sometimes the words, in fact, fairly frequently, the words memento mori, remember that you will die. You know, they had, death was something that was more a part of life in those days, the Middle Ages. People didn't live as long. They didn't have hospitals and medicines, and there were frequent plagues. And thus death was a frequent occasion in people's lives. Memento mori, remember you will die. One of the things I used to like to do in these churches is to try to read the Latin inscriptions that are placed onto these tombstones in the churches. And one that I remember was kind of a play on the word, on the verb to be. And it said in the Latin, you, that is me, you are what I was, and I am what you will be. You are what I was, alive, and I am what you will be, dead. And I had to, when I got through the translation, I had to chuckle just a little. It's very clever, but it's very true. It's very true. It reminded me when I was first ordained and moving to my second assignment in 1978, which was St. Mary's in Corvallis. And as I arrived in the parish, Father Bliven, who was the pastor, took me a little tour of the rectory. It was a very nice rectory. And we went into his room and into his bedroom. And in his bedroom, I saw this beautiful wooden box that looked like a kind of hope chest. And I commented on how beautiful the wood was, and he said to me, "That's my coffin. That's my coffin." Kept in his room. And I told him that it reminded me of when I first started at the seminary at Mount Angel in 1965, 14 years old, and a freshman in high school. And the abbot gave us a welcome thought, and he talked a bit about the rule of St. Benedict. And of course, I didn't know anything about those things. But one of the things he said was that the rule of Benedict said to the monks, "Keep death constantly before your eyes." Keep death constantly before your eyes. And I thought, well, I'm not really thinking about death at the age of 14, but it always kind of stuck in my head that as Christians, yes, that is our destiny, ultimately to be with the Lord. And it's perhaps not as morbid as it sounds, because to keep death before our eyes means to live life now while you have time, and to live it to the fullest. Live your life and to live it to the fullest. And make sure that even as death might approach, that you're ready for it. You know, what needs to be reconciled in your life? What people do you need perhaps to be reconciled with? What kind of things should you do in light of eternity? What kind of life are you living today? Is it a good life? Is it living the corporal works of mercy? Is it not? And so on. It's a good directive for all Christians, and not a morbid one. You know, we know, of course, that we will die. And during this pandemic, kind of like the plagues of the Middle Ages, we do have death before our eyes. Many people have lost friends, relatives, families, and so on. To keep death and to be prepared. Be prepared. It says that day might not catch you unawares like a trap. We're moving into the Advent season. Tomorrow, Sunday, we will celebrate the first Sunday of Advent, the coming of the Lord. Let us be prepared for that coming, to live good and holy Christian lives, the corporal works of mercy, to be ready when the Lord comes. Hold that thought, and we'll see you tomorrow.